Hey everybody, welcome to the Be Weird broadcast. Hey, we're here. We're here everybody. How's it going? How are you doing? We got a new schedule. So it's afternoon streams now. And we got a big stream for you today. Lots of reactions, lots of frustration and anger towards the recent Supreme Court decision. We'll be covering that. There's a lot of op-eds that came out that were super spicy. Very strong language used. People are questioning the legitimacy of the court. We're going to cover all of that. It's going to be really good. And then, yeah, I'm going to go enjoy Jazz Fest, everybody. I'm going to go out into the world, go bike around the town. And I'm thinking that's going to be a lot of fun. So, yeah, how are you doing? How's it going? It's like 30 degrees in Montreal. It's super hot. It's very hot. Absolutely hot. I hope you're hydrated and fed and caffeinated and all the things you need to keep things together. It's been a particularly difficult couple days, I would have to say. Holy cow, it's been tough. So I don't really blame you. Take whatever space you need. You know, count your spoons as you need them. We're gonna go see what some people have said about this. There's also some interesting protest footage, and we'll take a look at that and yeah, see where the day takes us. All right, so the first thing we're gonna check out that I think is always fun to see are like British people looking in on America and being like, what's going on over there? What's going on over there, you guys? So just to get us all on the same page, I thought I'd start with a summary from the BBC of the dissolution of America. And oh geez, yeah, I always forgot. I gotta blast off, everybody. Gotta blast off. Gotta tell the world I'm live. Oh geez, how are they supposed to know if I don't tell them? Oh god. All right, so if you're on Twitter, go share this tweet. Go retweet, like it, or whatever. Signal boost as it is. We're gonna go to the first story from BBC just to get a quick little summary. So let's get on over to it. Okay. So yeah, BBC News. Let's see how the
the procedure.
Sorry.
Nearly half of America's 50 states are expected to do so, and 13 have already passed so-called trigger laws, which outlaw or severely restrict abortion automatically following the court's ruling. It is a momentous decision which has delighted and enraged Americans. Well, our North America editor Sarah Smith is at the Supreme Court for us now. Sarah.
And we'll take a closer look at the protests surrounding the Supreme Court. They were pretty spicy, and all sorts of like heavily militarized police showed up who were recently empowered by a law that was passed in Congress. So they can pass laws. They can pass laws to protect SCOTUS just before, you know, very controversial decisions.
Protests have been growing here outside the court all day as people absorb this dramatic news. Whether you agree with the ruling or not, this is a seismic moment in America, as almost 5 decades of guaranteed abortion rights have been immediately and totally reversed.
This is a huge, historic moment for America. As they hear the news from the court, there's jubilation from anti-abortionists.
Life won today! Life won today!
Life won.
That's all it's about. It's just about winning. It's just about the petty victory. Yikes.
Today, they chant, celebrating a victory after almost 50 years.
You know, I've seen the devastation abortion has wrought on our country on a communal level and on a personal level. And this, it's so vindicating to know.
This is who we're up against, everybody.
That we can now take
She likes jewels and pretty things too.
tangible steps to lessen the violence of abortion in our country.
10 years ago, did you ever imagine this would happen? I imagined it a lot, but I still, people told me it was impossible, that we wouldn't.
Classic BBC. They both sides it, you know, America's divided on this issue. It's like, every 2 to 1, I'm pretty sure, like 60% of Americans overwhelmingly support a person's right to healthcare, to reproductive healthcare. But let's start off with the chuds. Let's start off with the people with the loud, offensive opinions that are not based in science or health needs, just their own personal vindictions. Like, let's go, woo, all right, thanks.
Never see this kind of
She wore rave face glitter to an auntie. I know, Halogen. Why?
victory, and now I know that
Also, how you been? Happy belated.
victory is not only possible, it's happened. So we are going to work off of this momentum. We're going to keep going. We're going to keep
I like the
fighting,
smeared
and we're going to build a better
mascara
world.
look better.
Fury from those campaigning to keep the guaranteed right to abortion, promising to fight back.
It's not the will of the people, and this country is supposed to run off of the will of the people. I'm 21 and I'm terrified.
These nutbags get outnumbered quickly. Yeah, I mean, it's 2 to 1, like for every, and that's just like people who are not mobilized. Also, here we go. She's wearing glitter, but she's also got the spike collar. Now that's someone who like everything about her is pushing in the same direction. The heart sunglasses, the long nails, the like very long eyeliner, and the cat ears. Like she knows who she is. That other girl with the glitter, I don't know. It seemed kind of fake to me. I don't know. Really, Halogen? I don't know. I think she was using the glitter and she was violating the glitter before. It's where we'll find common ground.
That
okay,
happen,
all
but
right.
we will never give up.
It's
Okay.
50 years since there was last a significant decision on abortion rights in America. It might be
No,
another.
this girl is so based. I want to be like her. Like, I will aid and abet abortion and just like
It's
there
50
to
years
escort
since there
people.
was last a significant decision
Let's
on
go.
abortion rights in America. It might be another 50.
More, sure. But we're not going to stop. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what they say. Again, abortions will continue. They just won't be legal, and women will die from botched abortions.
Look at that. She's not talking from personal convictions. She's just kind of expressing the consequences, the moral consequences, and why we should avoid them. It's like a very simple, clear argument. Like the contrast is amazing. Glitter is the herpes of the craft world? Uh-oh, Kraus, that is some hate speech. I don't know. That's why it crosses up.
It's obvious. This ruling is not good.
Everybody has glitter. They just don't. There's only 2 types of people in the world. Those who know they have glitter and those who don't.
To end the arguments over abortion in America. In fact, it will inflame them. In this deeply polarized society, abortion is already one of the most divisive issues.
Even the president is powerless to change the
Powerless.
With this
Powerless.
decision-
I like how Brits just cut to the chase. This speech, at the end of the speech, you would think he absolutely had power. But Brits are like, no, he's definitely powerless.
The conservative majority of the Supreme Court shows how extreme it is, how far removed they are from the majority of this country. They made the United States an outlier among developed nations in the world. But this decision,
Oh, sorry, I fell asleep. Is the president the most powerful man speaking from the bully pulpit about something that is deeply important for his political party? I can't tell. I thought this guy is reading me a nighttime story. Can you imagine that was Bernie Sanders? How pissed off he would be? Oh my god. Obviously he doesn't have power. Look at his glitterless face. True. He was from a different era though, Halogen. I don't know if they had glitter as much back then.
must not be the final word.
Come join us in the March for Equality.
Abortion rights have been fought over for decades.
Good evening. In a landmark ruling, the Supreme Court today legalized abortions.
In 1973, the Supreme Court ruled in the test case of Roe
Bernie
versus
give
Wade
himself another
that
heart
women
attack.
must have access to abortion
I don't know, man. That guy's running strong. He's been outraged and infuriated for 40 years now. I'm sure he can go another 2, 4.
across America.
But not
A
8.
decision totally reversed today.
It is my profound honor to be the first president in history to attend the March for Life.
As president, Donald Trump deliberately appointed 3 pro-life justices to the court, making today's ruling possible. He says God made the decision. In fact, it was 6 of the 9 judges.
By a vote of 6
What a
to 3,
crazy.
the court affirmed. that the power to protect unborn life.
Thanks, BBC News. For a second there, I thought God actually did decree this.
Life is returned to the people and their elected representatives. The people have won a victory.
Oh yeah, this is who we're up against. This is the scary part. Like, how do you reason with these folk who are beyond compromise because it's a religious conviction? This is why you separate church and state. Once you start having Supreme Court justices legislating from the bench from religious convictions, it's over. It's over. That's a theocracy. It's GG. Just start over.
Anti-abortion activists view today's victory as merely a first step. They will now take their campaigns to every state which continues to allow terminations, trying to get abortion banned in the whole of the United States. Sarah Smith, BBC News, Washington.
Well, as we mentioned earlier, there are 13 so-called trigger states which already have...
I always get really suspicious of people who wrap themselves in the flag of like children, of like, we gotta protect the children at all costs. And it's like, I think I need you to calm down a little bit.
Have laws in place to immediately ban abortion
All
now
but
that
Allegra
Roe
Kagan are
versus Wade
Catholic?
has been overturned.
Oh my God.
One of them is Arkansas, whose
did the Pope
Attorney
say?
General has this evening signed the ban into law. Our correspondent Sophie Long has had special access to an abortion clinic in the state, which is now having to turn women away.
Oh
And
yeah.
there are
The Vatican is like, good job, America. You're challenging the world with your new ideas. Really gets the noggin jogging, these moral quandaries we face. Whether to let women be people or not. If they're not people, do they produce weaker, more defenseless children? like, geez. Imagine taking moral instruction from the Vatican on anything anymore. On anything. It's an institution about, like, that's like morals. All we do is think and do morals. Like, we are righteous. And it's like, y'all done so much harm in the world. Awful.
stressing details in her report.
This is an anti-Pope stream. I hate to say it. Sorry. If you are watching this and you are the Pope, I'm only have mean things to say about you. I'm sorry.
It was exactly the ruling they'd been dreading. But the expectation didn't make the court's decision.
Oh, God. Remember? Hey, do you remember when that actually happened? When several people declared that they were the Pope, and there was the Western... What was it? Was it the Western Schism? Or... Oh, God. There was like a whole... There's a whole period where there's like a bunch of people declared themselves to be... Where is it? History, 3 people declared themselves Pope. Amazing. You love to see it. It was called it was the Schism. Okay, yeah, the Western Schism. When there were 2 and later 3 rival popes, each with his own following, his own sacred college of cardinals, and his own administrative offices. Yeah. The double election had disastrous effects upon the church. The followers of the 2 popes were divided chiefly along national lines, and thus the dual papacy fostered the political antagonisms of the time. The spectacle of rival popes denouncing each other produced great confusion and resulted in a tremendous loss of prestige for the papacy. Amazing. My favorite part of history. Should be like a wolf pack where stronger popes can challenge him to a fight for status. I don't think that's how wolves work, Halogen. I think that whole alpha beta thing's like proper debunked. That's not how wolves work. I think they play chess or checkers or something. Like it's much more formal.
Any less devastating.
Rock, paper, scissors.
Abortion is murder. It's just been upheld.
Always, and like when you try to engage these folk, it's always the most extreme emotional. Oh, if they're Catholic wolves. Excuse me. You're right. I should have. I'll defer to you. You seem to know a lot about Catholic wolves.
Outside, they had to turn women away.
This isn't a country that I ever thought I would know. I thought that this country would still care about people.
Yeah, the pandemic showed us, we can't mandate masks in America, but we can mandate, control over a woman's body. Like, you got a womb? No, not anymore. It's my womb now, says the state. Like, guys.
Would still care about women.
Inside, they had to come to terms with the fact
There
that
can't be any compromise because it's not really about the religiosity. It's about keeping the herd in check. Yeah, console and control gaming. That's a fair point. Absolutely.
they provide.
Like, that's one thing that I've been thinking about a lot for the past 5 years, especially after I exited my cringe debate bro phase, was how oftentimes our beliefs are created through society or our community that we've selected for, or like certain conversations even, or authority figures that we trust, and how rarely it's actually formed on like a logical processing of the facts or like scientific reasoning or whatever, you know what I mean? Like there's sometimes we use this highbrow way of thinking, but not for all our beliefs, and that would be so much work. But some people have gotten really lazy, and now like Facebook memes are making their way to the presidency, and the president is like using them to overthrow the government because he believes them. Like that's where things are getting very dangerous.
Decided here is now a criminal offence.
I don't think there's a waiting period there, but it is about a 5.5-hour drive.
Oh, guys breaking each other's hips.
And see, it's like having to turn women away. Like,
oh my god. Oh my god.
That sucks.
Oh, that sucks.
Jennifer Thompson first came here as a patient. She says her abortion saved her life, and the care...
Is there any wonder that the, like, industries dominated by women are just getting absolutely roasted during pandemic? Like, holy cow. Like, nursing and teaching and, I don't know, what else? Give me a third,
care she received here inspired her to train so she could do the same for others.
Now I have to tell them I'm sorry, but there's nothing I can do for you. I'm sorry that your boyfriend beats you every day and that he rapes you all the time. There's nothing I
No,
can do.
stop.
You're gonna have to find somewhere else to go.
What the fuck?
I mean, I
Don't
can
do
give him
it.
information to help him try, but it's heartbreaking, man.
Oh,
Like, you know,
man.
this place saved my life, literally.
No.
For more than 10 years, Dr. Willie Parker has travelled here from another state because the restrictive laws and the threat of violence or financial ruin has long been too
God, that was
great
awful.
for local doctors to carry out abortions here themselves.
I was not
I
ready for that.
feel angry in the way that anybody who is deeply vested in human rights should feel angry and outraged and indignant anytime they are witnessing injustice. We will come to recognize the full cost of criminalizing abortion when we start to see the bump in the rise in maternal mortality and morbidity, suffering, and death related to conditions that are unique to pregnancy.
Wow. Couldn't have said it better
I
myself.
put that to the woman who fought back tears of joy as she signed Arkansas's almost total ban on abortion into law.
Bro.
It makes no exception
Arkansas,
to
what are you doing, Arkansas?
rape or incest. A termination can only take place now in the case of maternal medical emergency.
Oh my god, they're forcing a woman to birth the babies of rapists in Arkansas. This is something that you come across in your newsfeed.
Has any facts to base that hypothetical answer on. We don't have any information to base that conclusion that this doctor has come up with, and hopefully, you know, this law that we're putting in place specifically says to save the life of a mother.
Oh my god, lady. She literally said, we don't have facts to confirm what the doctors are telling us. That's what I understood. She's like, we just don't have them. Sure, he is a person who can provide facts. I know, it was really weird, eh? It was very strange language. Like, listen to that again. I don't know if it's because they edited it oddly and they started her like in an odd part, or maybe they couldn't find a place to start, but this is odd.
For rape or incest, a termination can...
evil.
Has any facts...
Okay, one more time.
medical emergency.
Well, I don't know if that doctor has any facts.
Oh, well, I don't know if that doctor has any facts. Bro. Are you for real?
To base that hypothetical answer on, we don't have any information to base that conclusion that this doctor has come up with. And hopefully, this law that we're putting in place specifically says to save the life of a mother.
This is the doublespeak that like Orwell warned us about, is that as people take away your rights, they put on the mantle of protecting your rights. We're here to protect you, kind of thing. And that's all I'm understanding from her. She's just doing the doublespeak thing. No, it says right there in the text to protect you. Like, oof.
For the anti-abortion protesters outside the clinic, this is a good day.
We will not fully celebrate until abortion is eradicated fully from our land. And
literally got a rainbow. Oh my goodness.
Until Little Family Planning Services, for example, is closed down and does not reopen, then we can celebrate for sure.
Americans are getting pushed around by literal thumbs. Thumbs and thumbelinas.
They will continue their fight, but the Supreme Court's ruling will fundamentally change the course of the lives of all the women who passed the protesters every day to provide the care they did here, along with those of millions of others across the United States. Sophie Long, BBC News, Little Rock, Arkansas.
Let's talk to Sarah Smith now. Sarah, such a hugely consequential decision.
All right, we're going to move on to the next section. This is Trudeau speaking out on this. Of course, he's got to speak to the base.
Today's a difficult day. The judgment coming out of the United States is an attack on women's freedom, and quite frankly, it's an attack on everyone's freedoms and rights. Let me be really clear.
Absolutely, Shaniqua.
In Canada,
this is like some of the most, like, I'm in a different space right now because I went through a lot of the emotions when we got the leaked decision. And once we got the leaked decision, I knew it was happening. Like, there was no doubt in my mind that they were going to overturn Roe v. Wade. So that was mostly when I processed a lot of my emotions. Now that it's happening, it's more like just kind of like an awful shock. Just an awful shock. I don't know, like watching like a car head towards the cliff the entire time. You know this is going to go bad. There's too much momentum. Nobody's hitting the brakes. And we're at the moment that the car just poof, and we're in that mid-air moment. We're in that gut-wrenching free fall. And I'm extremely worried. I'm super freaked out by this.
we will always defend women's rights to choose and continue to work to expand access to the full range of reproductive and health and services across the country. But today, I think of those generations of women around the world, and specifically in the United States, who fought so hard to gain rights and continue to fight today to get more and more rights, because there's still so much more work to do.
Man, I had to break the news. It's like when someone's on life support, you know what's coming, but it still sucks when it does. Yeah, like there's just all the signals are pointing. I had to break the news to my mom when the decision was leaked, and that was like such an upsetting discussion. Oh my fucking god. She's just like shell-shocked seeing how much progress we've lost. Like what?
And are facing this devastating setback. It shows how much standing up and fighting for rights matters every day, that we can't take anything for granted, that we need to continue to stand strong to defend everybody's rights and freedoms. In Canada, and where we are here internationally, standing up internationally as well, which Canada will do, whether it's fighting for women's rights here in Africa or supporting people fighting for their rights in the United States and elsewhere.
Today is a dark day. It's a dark day for women in the United States and around the world.
Gun for life. Good females should keep their legs closed. Shouldn't they? Shake my head. This is why I am celibate. Females are the problem. Hey, Gun for life. It sucks that you're an incel. Hopefully someone will take kindness on you and relieve you from this deep, dark pit of despair you have chosen. I don't think any incels are doing this against their will. So, I mean, if you're a tiny bit more polite, we'll keep you. But if you're going to antagonize, I'm just going to ban you. So, I mean, you make your choice. But incels have no... It's very hard for me to be welcoming towards incels. I'm a fairly welcoming individual. But I'm sorry, like, this might not be the place for you. Yeah.
It's a setback. It's a reversal of hard-fought gains by generations of women.
It's amazing to me that people who don't have sex are like super obsessed with other people having sex. It's almost like they're projecting their own insecurities.
And
Yeah,
this
I know,
decision-
Shaniqua. I mean, like QAnoners and incels, like, this is how you know we're in the bad place. This is how you know. It's like, I don't like the modern world. Parts of it kind of suck.
Will put women's lives at risk. And it has a domino effect on other rights. But the message that we're conveying also today is that your voice matters. Your voice, your vote matters. And no country in the world, including Canada, is immune to what's going on in the United States.
I think this is the part that Canadians really have to digest. We are not immune to this shit, and you can already start to see the stirrings of it with like Pierre Poilievre and Maxime Bernier. It's on the margins and not scary like it is in America, where it's full-fledged, it's taking over the government, it's trying to overthrow the government in some cases. But we still got to be really, really vigilant, because it's a really slippery slope, and America's going to keep pushing that onto us, onto our culture. And yeah, like, fuck that. Like, one of the stories that was going around today, just on Montreal subreddits, is today, of all days, of course, there's a bunch of like leaflets going around, like those really crazy friggin' leaflets, like got the like weird digitally created fetuses that are all red and garish and stuff. So like here in Montreal, there's like absolutely these wackos terrorizing people with their stupid pamphlets.
And we already know that even last year, the conservative...
I don't want these modern females who think they can have strong opinions when I am the man who they think they are. This is why I am celibate, buddy. Okay, I'm hitting Poe's Law now. I honestly can't tell if you're for real or not. This is amazing. Please stay. Oh god damn, that is so friggin', yeah, this has gotta be, it's guns for life, it's guns for life, it's gotta be sarcasm. I've been working on it, Shaniqua. Any tips, I will. We should be getting a pet the chud emote soon. I'm working on that in the background.
We're reopening the debate on abortion in Canada. And right now, as the conservative leadership race is happening, candidates are shopping for anti-abortion votes. And so we as a government will continue to stand up for women's rights, because it's the right thing to do, because we need to. And of course, we'll work across the government to make sure that women across the country and around the world have access to reproductive and sexual services, health and sexual reproductive.
This is how you know she's French. She's struggling with the 5 and 6 syllable words, just like an anglophone trying to speak a word, a long French word. That's cute.
Sorry for that.
Oh man, this is amazing. I am 100% serious. I'm part of the Reddit celibate community. You only see the negatives about incels, but what about females? They use men all the time, and they think they have a right to do this and that. Yeah, like guns for life. One right that women seem to think I have is a right to vote. You got a problem with that, huh? Like, how far are we going? But see, this is the problem. We don't know where your line is anymore. Like, what do you... Yeah, now I'm not so sure. Okay, we do have a Pet the Chud emote now. We do have a Pet the Chud emote. So if you're on Twitch, that will appear. It's not appearing as it should in the dashboard, unfortunately, on stream. But if you're on Twitch, there's a lovely Pet the Chud emote. So now we can decide if we want to keep him or not. Do we want to keep the Chud? Is he entertaining or annoying? Okay, so here is a really interesting write-up. Ursula K. Le Guin is a really lovely science fiction writer. She wrote The Left Hand of Darkness, an incredible sci-fi book about a world in which people don't have gender, in which it's like this deeply political, philosophical, emotional phenomenon on the planet. Great read. So this is what she wrote. Someone posted this, I guess, in response to Roe v. Wade. It's what it was like. This is a talk given at a meeting of Oregon NARAL in January 2004. I don't know what NARAL is, NARAL, but here we go. My friends at NARAL asked me to tell you what it was like before Roe v. Wade. They asked me to tell you what it was like to be 20 and pregnant in 1950. And when you tell your boyfriend you're pregnant, he tells you about a friend of his in the army whose girl told him she was pregnant, so he got all his buddy to come and say, we all effed her. So who knows who the father is? And he laughs at the good joke. They asked me to tell you what it was like to be a pregnant girl. We weren't women then. A pregnant college girl who, if her college found out she was pregnant, would expel her there and then without plea or recourse. What it was like. If you were planning to go to graduate school and get a degree and earn a living so you could support yourself and do the work you loved. What it was like to be a senior at Radcliffe and pregnant. And if you bore this child which the law demanded you bear, and would then call unlawful, illegitimate, this child whose father denied it, this child which would take from you your capacity to support yourself and do the work you knew it was your gift and your responsibility to do. What was it like? I can hardly imagine what it's like to live as a woman under fundamentalist Islamic law. I can hardly remember now, 54 years later, what it was like to live under fundamentalist Christian law. Thanks to Roe versus Wade, none of us in America has lived in that place for half a lifetime. But I can tell you what it is like for me right now. It's like this. If I had dropped out of college, thrown away my education, depended on my parents through the pregnancy, birth, and infancy, till I could get some kind of work and gain some kind of independence for myself and the child, if I had done all that, which is what the anti-abortion people want me to have done, I would have borne a child for them. For the anti-abortion people, the authorities, the theorists, the fundamentalists, I would have borne a child for them, their child. But I would not have borne my own first child, or second child, or third child, my children. The life of that fetus would have aborted 3 other fetuses, or children, or lives, or whatever you choose to call them. My children, the 3 I bore, the 3 wanted children. The 3 I had with my husband, whom, if I had not aborted the unwanted one, I would never have met and married, because he would have been a Fulbright student going to France on the Queen Mary in 1953. But I would not have been a Fulbright student going to France on the Queen Mary in 1953. I would have been an unwed mother of a 3-year-old in California without work, with half an education, living off her parents, not marriageable, contributing nothing to her community but another mouth to feed. Another useless woman. But it is the children I have to come back to. My children Elizabeth, Carolyn, Theodore, my joy, my pride, my loves. If I had not broken the law and aborted that life nobody wanted, they would have been aborted by a cruel, bigoted, and senseless law. They would never have been born. This thought I cannot bear. I beg you to see what it is that we must save, and not to let the bigots and misogynists take it away from us again. Save what we won, our children. You who are young, before it's too late, save your children. 2004. Yeah, I don't know if that slaps differently for you, but damn. Damn. So yeah, I thought that was a really good write-up. Okay, moving on. We have an interesting take. This is from Obergerfell. He said it was quite telling that Clarence Thomas didn't bring up Loving v. Virginia. Yeah, so Clarence Thomas said the court should reconsider rulings on same-sex marriages and relationships. And Jim Obergefell said Thomas omitted rulings on interracial marriage because it affects him personally. Which is wild. Jim Obergefell, the plaintiff behind the Supreme Court's landmark ruling on same-sex marriage, said Friday that Justice Clarence Thomas omitted Loving v. Virginia on his list of Supreme Court decisions to reconsider because it affects him personally. That affects him personally, but he doesn't care about the LGBTQ plus community, he said on Readout. Quote, I'm just concerned that hundreds of thousands of marriages across this nation are at risk, and the ability of people across this nation to marry the person they love is at risk. And for Justice Thomas to completely omit Loving v. Virginia, in my mind, is quite telling. He's making this point because it's based on the same right to privacy. And Loving v. Virginia says that you can marry someone who's of another race, essentially. It permits interracial marriage. And Clarence Thomas is wedded to a white woman, and he's black. So it's very unusual that he just, like, forgot to bring this up in his decision. But yeah, I'm glad you like that, Shaniqua. Ursula K. Le Guin is an amazing writer. She's awesome. So here is one interesting way this story is developing. It looks like the Attorney General, Merrick Garland, says that the FDA can approve abortion pills on safety grounds, and states can't do anything about it and can't prevent people from getting it by mail. States cannot ban mifepristone, is that mifepristone? I don't recognize that word. A medication that is used to bring about an abortion based on disagreement with the federal government on its safety and efficacy. Almost half of U.S. states have banned or tightly restricted abortion pills. 2 medicines named mifepristone and misoprostol, and more could soon follow suits. Axios's Oriana Gonzalez, Ashley Gold, and Jacques Schrag. Wow, what a name. Jacques Schrag? What? Is that, what? That's so hard to pronounce. Jacques Schrag. Oh, jeez. So these 2 abortion pills have already been approved by FDA for the first 10 weeks of pregnancy. Yikes. That's not a lot of time. My goodness. So, yeah, I don't know, man. Yeah, I just forgot the judge. Meanwhile, the Texas Attorney General, not the Attorney General for the USA, but just for the state of Texas, closes the office and creates an annual holiday to celebrate overturning Roe v. Wade. They are foaming. The hogs are foaming at the mouth. This is, looks like the counter-protests. Nope, this is definitely pro-lifers. You hate to see it. You hate to see it. Oh, jeez. Oh, jeez.
Your fury needs to be turned into this demand. Legal abortion nationwide. This green bandana symbolizes the women in Latin America who fought for abortion rights in a Catholic country. Wear the green. Make a donation. Call on everyone to come into the streets now. There is only one way to stop what's going on, and reverse the decision is to get in the streets. But this is the end of 50 years of federal abortion. This is the end, and we are celebrating the end, and we're celebrating a new beginning for every woman who finds herself in a crisis.
Every woman except the ones that they yell and scream at trying to go see a clinic.
Unexpected pregnancy will have the resources she needs to be empowered.
Oh, they're gonna have all the resources. There's gonna be childcare and daycare. Oh no, you're not. maternity leave is some of the worst in the developed country in the USA? Oh, wow. Okay.
Choose life. We are abortion bans.
I think there's literally a baby formula shortage right now. You can't make this shit up.
Abortion bans. Illegitimate. Forced mothering. Illegitimate. Forced mothering. Illegitimate. This decision. Illegitimate. This decision. Illegitimate. Abortion bans. Illegitimate.
Absolutely.
Are the post-Roe generation, and we will abolish abortion. We are the post-Roe generation, and we will.
It's like these people haven't even taken a single moment to look at Ireland. Countries have done this before. It does not go well. It does not go well. It does not go well. Like, come the fuck on. All right. We've got the editorial board from the New York Times. So let's see what they have to say about this. This is weighty opinion. Or at least we're supposed to pretend it is. It's not the end. They'll never get it banned in the Northeast or the West. Yeah, I don't think so, Kraus. I think this will split the USA in two. Which is also not good. Also a bad situation. Okay. The ruling overturning Roe is an insult to women and the judicial system. And they capitalized is. Really? Really, New York Times. That's a curious choice. I'm such a nerd. Jeez. Okay. This is the editorial board, separate from the newsroom. Even if we knew it was coming, the shock reverberates. For the first time in history, the Supreme Court has eliminated an established constitutional right involving the most fundamental of human concerns, the dignity and autonomy to decide what happens to your own body. As of June 24th, 2022, about 64 million American women of childbearing age have less power to decide what happens in their own bodies than they did the day before. Less power than their mothers and even some of their grandmothers did. That is the first and most important consequence of the Supreme Court's decision on Friday morning to overturn Roe v. Wade and Planned Parenthood v. Casey. The right-wing majority in Friday's ruling in Dobbs v. Jackson Women's Health Organization, which involved a Mississippi law that banned most abortions after 15 weeks, well before the line of viability established in Roe and Casey, stated, quote, "It is time to heed the Constitution and return the issue of abortion to the people's elected representatives." The implications of this reversal will be devastating, throwing America into a new era of struggle over abortion laws, an era that would be marked by chaos, confusion, and human suffering. About half of the states in the United States are expected to enact laws that resist or make abortion illegal in all or most cases. Many women may be forced by law to carry pregnancies to term, even, in some cases, those caused by rape or incest. Some will likely die, especially those with pregnancy complications that must be treated with abortion, or those who resort to unsafe means of abortion because they can't afford to travel to states where the procedure remains legal. Even those who are able to travel to other states could face the risk of criminal prosecution. Some could go to prison, as could the doctors who care for them. Miscarriages could be investigated as murders, which has already happened in several states, and may become only more common. Without full control over their bodies, women will lose their ability to function as equal members of American society. The vice president is literally a woman and is now a second-class citizen. That is insane. The insult of Friday's ruling is not only in its blithe dismissal of women's dignity and equality, it lies as well in the overt rejection of a well-established legal standard that had managed for decades to balance and reflect Americans' views on a fraught topic. A majority of the American public believes that women, not state or federal lawmakers, should have the legal right to decide whether to end a pregnancy in all or most cases. At the same time, Americans are weary of the decades-long fight over abortion, a fight that may feel far removed from their complex and deeply personal views about this issue. The court's ruling in Dobbs invites years of even more fractious and protracted legal conflict. By giving state legislatures the power to impose virtually whatever abortion restrictions they please, some will now enact outright bans on abortion. Dozens of cases challenging those laws could soon start making their way through the courts and almost certainly to the Supreme Court. The justices in the majority claim to be playing an impartial role in this decision. Quote, because the Constitution is neutral on the issue of abortion, this court also must be scrupulously neutral, Justice Brett I Like Beer Kavanaugh wrote in a concurring opinion. And yet, as the three dissenting justices pointed out, quote, when it comes to rights, the court does not act neutrally when it leaves everything up to the states. Rather, the court acts neutrally when it protects the right against all comers, end quote. Friday's ruling was written by Justice Samuel Alito. It was joined by all the other Republican-appointed justices, although Chief Justice John Roberts tried to have it both ways, joining with the majority to uphold the Mississippi law on Dobbs, even as he wrote separately to say he would not have overturned Roe and Casey altogether out of a respect for precedent. What a bullshit. Oh my god, that is how you know he is full of shit. The dissent, signed jointly by the three justices appointed by Democrats, took apart the majority's attempts to justify its rejection of established precedent and even questioned the Republican-appointed justices' claims to neutrality. The right to abortion, the dissenters noted, was established by one ruling a half-century ago, reaffirmed by another 30 years ago, and, quote, no recent developments in either law or fact have eroded or cast doubt on those precedents. Nothing, in short, has changed. Yeah, mental cartwheels, they've gotten so good at it. Nothing, that is, other than the makeup of the court. This is the sole reason for Friday's ruling. As the dissenters rightly put it, quote, today, the proclivities of individuals rule. Wow. Proclivities meaning the whims, the however you feel. The presence of these individuals on the court is the culmination of a decades-long effort by anti-abortion and other right-wing forces to remake the court into a regressive bulwark. This has never been a secret, and with the help of the Senate under Mitch McConnell, former President Donald Trump, and allies in the conservative legal movement, they have succeeded. The central logic of the Dobbs ruling is superficially straightforward, and the opinion is substantially the same as the draft Justice Alito distributed to the other justices in February, which was leaked to the press last month. Roe and Casey must be overruled, the ruling says, because the Constitution, quote, the Constitution makes no reference to abortion, and no such right is implicitly protected by any constitutional provision, including the 14th Amendment's guarantee of due process. While that provision has been held to guarantee certain rights that are not mentioned explicitly in the Constitution, any such right must be, quote, deeply rooted in this nation's history and tradition. Yo, women weren't thought of as people. The Supreme Court, like, the Constitution didn't have judicial review. What is he talking about? They played the shit out of the long game? This is it, right? Like, they honed in on one issue. They made it the wedge issue every single election, got their base to foam at the mouth, and now they caught the car. Now what? By the majority's reasoning, the right to terminate a pregnancy is not deeply rooted in the history and tradition of the U.S., a country whose constitution was written by a small band of wealthy white men, many of whom owned slaves, and most, if not all of whom, considered women to be second-class citizens without any say in politics. Okay, cool. I'm glad the New York Times is actually coming out swinging for once. Jerry Falwell. Oh, fuck, man. You can get me stun-locked. The three dissenters in the Dobbs case, Justices Stephen Breyer, Sonia Sotomayor, and Elena Kagan, called out the majority's dishonesty, noting that its exceedingly narrow definition of deeply rooted rights poses a threat to far more than reproductive freedom. The majority's denial of this is impossible to believe, the dissenters wrote, saying, quote, either the majority does not really believe in its own reasoning, or if it does, all rights that have no history stretching back to the mid-19th century are insecure. In other words, the court is not going to stop at abortion. If you think that's hyperbole, consider Justice Clarence Thomas's concurring opinion in Dobbs, in which he called for the court to reconsider other constitutional rights that Americans have enjoyed, in some cases, for decades, including the right to use birth control, the right to marry the person of their choosing, and the right of consenting adults to do as they please in the privacy of their bedrooms without being arrested and charged with crimes. These rights share a similar constitutional grounding to the now former right to abortion, and Justice Thomas rejects that grounding, calling on the court to, quote, eliminate it, at the earliest opportunity. And this same constitutional grounding is also what protects interracial marriage, which was, curiously, not something Justice Thomas targeted. Can't imagine why. Maybe because it personally affects him? I don't know. I'm sure there's some high-minded reason. 10 Commandments state, thou shalt not kill. Remember that? Hey, Brenda Childers. In the Bible, and I hope we're talking about the New Testament, because it would be very funny to watch someone try to defend the Old Testament in this day and age. But in the New Testament, last I checked, Jesus calls on you to take care of widows, to take care of orphans, to take care of the poor, to take care of the dispossessed. Where does it say in the Bible to take care of the not yet born, the not yet existing? The unborn, as a Methodist pastor put it, are a convenient group to advocate for because they make zero demands on you and your faith, which makes me think your faith is nothing more than words you say to make yourself feel better about yourself. You know, just magic words that have no basis in reality. And frankly, your comment says a lot about yourself. Says quite a bit about yourself. Let me just say that. Okay, this position, faith is a front for being awful. Yeah, at this point, like, I have zero patience for people who are going to try to drag women back to the Stone Age, force them to have babies against their will, put them barefoot in the kitchen because, you know, just because, like, literally just because. And how dare you ask why? And when you actually find the few religious folk who will actually explain their reasoning, it's like the most circular bullshit you've ever heard. And just like, do you hear yourself talking? Do you not hear the contradictions? Like, it's maddening stuff. Nothing better than watching, you know, like, religious zealots take over the Supreme Court, issue a ruling that is deeply unpopular and frankly confusing for lawyers around the world, and then you have to listen to religious folk come in and act all high and mighty as if they actually, like, pushed forward a legal rationale or argument. They didn't. They just got their people onto the court. Like, holy shit, talk about having no actual substance. Has there ever been mention of banning vasectomies? No, of course not. We just don't do that. You know, men can still get Viagra. That's cool. No problem. All good. You know what's my favorite thing that you could tell about, like, pro-lifers and conservatives is that they might have the courage of their conviction to come into, like, random streams to spout off, but they won't, like, stick around to try to duke it out. It's always like shooting from the brush and then running away, like guerrilla warfare. Like, woof. This position may not command a majority of justices today, but 6 years ago, few people thought Roe v. Wade would be overturned. Brett Kavanaugh, during his confirmation hearing in 2018, said, Roe v. Wade is an important precedent of the Supreme Court that has been reaffirmed many times. He added, Casey specifically reconsidered it, applied the stare decisis factors, and decided to reaffirm it. That makes Casey a precedent on precedent. Yet he voted to overturn 2 rulings that have led to more equality, more dignity, and more freedom for millions of Americans. To dismantle these and other advances, the majority on the Supreme Court has demonstrated its disregard for precedent, public opinion, and the court's own legitimacy in the eyes of the American people. We will be paying the price for decades to come. Yeah, it's all feels before reals. Confidence in U.S. Supreme Court sinks to historic low. 25% of Americans have confidence in the Supreme Court, down from 36% in 2021. In a single year? That's alarm bells, everybody. Alarm bells. Terrifying. Absolutely terrifying. Woo! Oh, that is a sharp decline. That is an incredibly sharp decline. 1975? Oh, whoa! It's been above 40% from 1973 to 2006. Wow. And then it hovered above 30, and now for the first time in history, it is below 30%. And really, really below 30%. Wow. Absolutely incredible. It's got to be lower now, the poll. It's going to be like, do you think it will cross the 20% line? I give it a month. I say within two months, that line will be below 20. And I don't know. I think stuff happens. Like, stuff starts to happen. I don't know how to express like what happens, but I know something happens. Yeah, I don't know, man. Okay, we got a piece from The Atlantic. And I might look for something to watch just to give my voice a rest. Here is the LAPD attacking the press. This is some fun videos.
Leave the area! Press. Hey, leave the area!
I'm press. I'm press. Whoa, whoa, whoa. What are you doing, man?
Leave the area!
What are you doing, man?
Leave the area! Leave the area! Leave the area!
I'm press. I have a legal right to be here.
Even the
Can
cops
I get your name, sir?
Leave the area! Leave the area! Let's go! Leave the area!
You right, Joey?
No, I just got fucking nightstick for no reason. Leave the area!
We're members of the press.
I'm press. I can be.
We have.
So yeah, First Amendment. Yeah. This was, I think, yesterday. I think below 20 isn't crazy. Yeah, I think it's free fall. Law. Yeah, LAPD. I think this is yesterday. Not good. And hey, just to sort of like reaffirm that incel that came into the chat, look at this video.
I don't have sex.
People like this don't give a shit about
Regulate you. You wouldn't have to have abortion said for.
Incels.
Thank you for the evening. You lost. Amen. But I
Amen. We don't have sex. We don't have sex because we don't want to get people pregnant.
Oh my god. We're losing to incels. We're losing to incels and religious kooks. He couldn't get laid if he paid for it. He said he had sex and he repented. And yeah, I think that's self-report. It sounds like you had some sex that you feel ashamed of, and that's you. That's on you, man. That's on you. Okay, what do we got next? This is a weird clip.
That I clearly don't trust women enough to make choices to control their own body. And my response is, I do trust women enough to control when they allow a man to ejaculate, so inside of them, and to control that intake of semen. So that may be inflammatory, but I think as a legislature, we have the responsibility to create a legal framework that is friendly in supporting rights.
I'm sorry, what? I'm sorry, fucking what? You said what about cum? I'm sorry, what? Women aren't dams. That's not how that works. More police versus protesters. Oh yeah, she was very serious, Kraus. That was absolutely not like a gaffe or something. She just shooting from the hip. This is the fallout. This is what it looks like. The Uvalde maneuver. Lol. Lol. Yeah. Yeah. Cops are cowards. What else is new? Okay. This was a good piece. Oh, sorry. I'm just gonna manage my cookies, everybody. It's time to say it. The U.S. Supreme Court has become an illegitimate institution. Big words. Big mad. Big mad. All right. As of 24th of June, 2022, the U.S. Supreme Court should officially be understood as an illegitimate institution, a tool, a minority rule over the majority, and as part of a far-right ideological and authoritarian takeover that must be snuffed out if we want American democracy to survive. This is Jill Filipovic. On Friday, in Dobbs v. Jackson Women's Health, the Supreme Court overruled its nearly 50-year precedent of Roe v. Wade, the 1973 case that legalized abortion nationwide. It is difficult to overstate just how devastating this is for pregnant people, for women as a class, and for anyone with even a passing interest in individual freedom and equality. But it's also devastating for those of us who care quite a bit about American democratic traditions and the strength of our institutions, because with this ruling, the Supreme Court has just signaled its illegitimacy, and it throws much of the American project into question. This is kind of where I'm at. This is where I'm coming from. She's really speaking to my concerns here, which means that Democrats and others who want to see America endure as a representative democracy need to act. Of the 9 justices sitting on the current court, 5, all of them in the majority opinion that overturned Roe, were appointed by presidents who initially lost the popular vote. The 3 appointed by Donald Trump were, and she has to use the word initially because George W. Bush won the popular vote in his second term, in his second election, but that was very much rally around the flag effect, the 9/11, all that jazz. The 3 appointed by Donald Trump were confirmed by senators who represent a minority of Americans. A majority of this court, in other words, were not appointed by a process that is representative of the will of the American people. So that's pretty true. 2 were appointed via starkly undemocratic means, put in place by bad actors willing to change the rules to suit their needs. And these bad actors specifically are like the Federalist Society and Mitch McConnell. Neil Gorsuch only has a seat because Republicans, led by Mitch McConnell, blocked the ability of Barack Obama to nominate Merrick Garland, or anyone, in fact, to a Supreme Court seat, claiming that, because it was an election year, voters should get to decide. And then, Donald Trump appointed Amy Coney Barrett in a radically rushed and incomplete, incoherent process in an election year. And actually in, Ruth Bader Ginsburg, on her deathbed, expressly asked for her seat not to be filled by the current president, by the next president, that the American people deserve to have a vote to choose the next Supreme Court justice. So that's something that's missing from this that I will not forget. That to me seems unholy and depraved. And now this court, stacked with far-right judges appointed via ignoble means, has stripped from American women the right to control our own bodies. They have summarily placed women into a novel category of person with fewer rights, not just than other people, but than fertilized eggs and corpses. You haven't heard that point made quite often, but it's true. You can't take from a corpse organs to support the living. Like, that's not generally allowed. After all, no one is forced to donate their organs for the survival of another, not parents to their children, not the dead to the living. It is only fertilized eggs, embryos, and fetuses that are newly entitled to this right to use another person's body and organs against that other's will. It is only women and other people who can get pregnant who are now subject to these unparalleled radical demands. This raises a fundamental question. Can a country be properly understood as a democracy, an entity in which government derives its power from the people, if it subjugates half its population, putting them into a category of sub-person with fewer rights, freedoms, and liberties? The global trend suggests that the answer to that is no. A clear pattern has emerged in the past few decades. As countries democratize, they tend to liberalize women's rights, and they expand abortion and other reproductive rights. Luckily for the women of the world, this is where a great many nations are moving. But the reverse is also true. As a smaller number of countries move toward authoritarian governance, they constrict the rights of women, LGBT people, and many minority groups. We have seen this in every country that has scaled back abortion rights, reproductive rights, and women's rights more broadly in the past several years. Russia, Hungary, Poland, Nicaragua, and the United States. The same week that the Supreme Court issued its decision in Dobbs, the U.S. House of Representatives has been holding hearings to inform the public about what actually happened during the attempted coup of January 6, 2021, and to ideally hold perpetrators, traitors, and seditionists to account. We're only a year and a half past that disgraceful day when an angry mob decided that they, an authoritarian, patriarchal, white supremacist minority, should rule, that any other outcome, no matter how free and fair the election, was illegitimate. The Senate is nuts. Wyoming gets the same amount of senators as California. Population of 600K versus 40 million. Yeah, I've seen some of these comparisons before. It's especially like some gerrymandering that happens. Not for the Senate, but like, let's say even like at the local level. But the Senate is particularly insane. There's interesting like maps showing like density populations and how empty middle America is, the flyover states. The Supreme Court decision stems from that same rotted root, the idea that a patriarchal minority should have nearly unlimited authority over the majority. The conservatives of the court rightly understand that individual rights and women's freedoms are incompatible with a system of broad male control over women and children, and a broader male monopoly on the public, political, and economic spheres. Like, think of Uvalde. Think of Uvalde using this lens. The men were so empowered by the society, by the state, that they sacrificed all the women and children. And sure, some of the teachers were not women, but generally they were sacrificing women and children. Not good. As Joe says, that authoritarian vision is also incompatible with democracy. So yeah, the Democrats can give speeches and send fundraising emails, or they can act, declare this court illegitimate, demand its expansion, abolish the filibuster, treat this like the emergency it is, and make America a representative democracy. So yeah, very based. This is the amount of frustration I want to be hearing. I think there is a clip I have of AOC. Let me see. Here it is.
Illegitimate! This decision! Illegitimate! This decision! Illegitimate! Into the streets! 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 Into the streets!
Notice the Turning Point USA. That's like a right wing. Yeah, I mean, I think the thing I find so frustrating, if the Dems pack the court, the Republicans would just do it again when they have power. Yeah, but I don't know what other choice you have. They're going to do it anyways. Like, from what I understand, if and when Republicans get power, they will just ban abortion at the federal level, and they'll blow up the filibuster to do so. They've given up on the veneer of democracy, so why cling to it? Like, at this point, Democrats have all three branches of power. They should act like it. I know they can't, but fuck. Canada will ensure border officials know Americans can travel for abortion. Minister Marco Mendicino says he's speaking with Canada border to make sure there are clear guidelines so Americans who may not be able to access an abortion can come to Canada to do so. Says ability to do so isn't in question, but he wants to make sure things are clear. Interesting. So going way out of his way. Department of Homeland Security warns of potential violent extremist activity in response to abortion ruling. DHS is putting sights on Antifa, everybody, and women and children, it seems like. Revolution TV says, look at this little liberal incel beta chump sitting in his gamer chair crying for women's rights when not a woman he is defending would ever touch him. I'm going on a date later tonight, actually, Revolution TV. How do you think it's going to go? Do you think she's going to like the cut of my jib and that I care, that I see her as a human being and not as like, you know, some sort of broodmare that needs to go work in my kitchen barefoot? It's really funny that all you incels are so excited about this, but you don't even have sex. Like, it's really bizarre. It's really bizarre to me. We got another one, boys. Ah, jeez, another one on the line. Reel it in. All right, well, here's my question. Do I give him... No, there's no way. This person is obviously insane. But the DHS is going to be coming after Antifa. Saying that judges are probably most at risk for violence. Not sure where they're getting that from. So yeah, this is... we already saw cops, like, pushing around the press. Meanwhile, Oslo shooting near gay bar investigated as terrorism as Pride Parade is cancelled. You ever notice that we only get the incels through YouTube? And they come and then they go. It's always like, come in, they blast off, and then they disappear. It's always like, what a self-report. Oh, that's funny. That's so funny. Oslo's annual Pride Parade was cancelled on Saturday following a deadly shooting at a gay bar that Norwegian police... This was in Norway? Oslo, Norway. That makes sense. Okay. I thought maybe there was an American city called Oslo. Jesus. Did anyone get hurt? The suspect charged with terrorism is a Norwegian citizen originally from Iran and was, quote, known to the police, but has only received minor convictions up until now. Domestic Intelligence Service said it was working to clarify whether more acts of violence may be planned. So, yeah. Okay, looks... I don't think... There were wounded people on the ground inside and outside the bar when the police arrived. Quote, the scene was chaotic. It was a warm evening and a lot of people were outside, so there were people running everywhere. Among the 8 in hospital, 3 people are in critical condition. Another 14 victims sustained minor injuries. Wow. Man, fuck the homophobes. Can they, like, just like... I don't even know what's wrong with them anymore. They lost their minds. They leave to avoid humiliation. Yeah, I guess, like it's pretty... I even try to welcome a little bit. I'll even read your message out loud, you know, just to kind of give you the slim chance to trigger me, which is, I guess, what they want to get their I guess, like, their stun lock. But I guess stun locked by lefties as well, right? Like, it's just kind of a thing. Okay. Restricting abortion just makes it more deadly, says the United Nations after U.S. ruling. So, you know, they didn't get the reaction they were after. Yeah, basically. Just, like, have you ever met someone who is like that, who just, like, really just tried to get a rise out of people? They were, like, they're not normal. They're not normal people. They're deeply strange. Restricting abortion access does not stop people seeking the procedure. It only makes it more deadly. A spokesman for the UN said, quote, sexual and reproductive health and rights are the foundation of a life of choice, empowerment, and equality for the world's women and girls. So, yeah, that's not a big surprise. Here is a study that came out. LA Times is reporting pregnant people of color more likely to get procedures they didn't consent to, study finds. A new study provides a sweeping look at how birthing experiences differ dramatically for pregnant people of color compared to pregnant white people. Now, I've heard, like, stuff like this through the grapevine, just anecdotally. There's, like, definitely a lot of other, let's say, studies about bias in the medical field. So this shouldn't come as much of a shock, but here we go. Black, Indigenous, and people of color giving birth were more likely than white people to experience health providers coercing them to go along with procedures they did not want, or to have their lack of explicit consent disregarded altogether, according to a new study. For instance, the new research published Thursday in the journal Birth Oh, what a name. Oh, geez. Wait, I gotta respond to this text. For instance, the study reported that 51% of BIPOC people surveyed said they received non-consented procedures, such as getting an epidural or drugs to speed their labor during perinatal care or while having a vaginal birth that they did not consent to. The corresponding figure for white people was 36%. Researchers with the University of British Columbia's Birthplace Lab and UC San Francisco showed that while BIPOC and white people would decline care at the same rate, health providers were more likely to respect the wishes of white people. Black patients were the most likely to have their wishes ignored, even after declining a procedure. What the fuck? Compared to white patients, they were 89% more likely to have non-consented procedures during perinatal care and 87% more likely to have them during vaginal births. People who identified as Asian, Latine, Indigenous, or multiracial reported experiencing pressure to accept perinatal procedures 55% more often than white people. Cool. Cool. Very normal. Very normal for a society. Super based. Okay then. Okay. All right. We're moving on. Let's watch this.
Someone just...
Oh no. I guess this is the Pride Parade. He's gonna just punch her in the face.
Go over there! And none of you are I'm gonna sue the West Hollywood Sheriff's Department, all of you. If you don't right now arrest whoever just
We have it on video.
All of you are gonna be arrested. We have Valdez. Get this on camera. We have Valdez, we have Ganis. All of you. Good for you. We have you guys look at my eye. Look at my eye. Do you see what's happening? That's insane.
You don't come here and destroy our day.
Look, none of you are protecting me.
Don't
Absolutely none of you are protecting me. I have no...
She's suing everybody. Where's the manager? Where's the manager of the city? Damn, I thought Jazz Fest was this week, but it turns out it's next weekend. Jeez. My afternoon plans, everybody. Spoiled. Senator Warren calls on Biden to use federal lands to protect abortion access. This was, I thought, a pretty interesting take. Like, actually, just using the power of the executive to create little pockets of, I guess, safety. Because the federal government will have, like, control of certain land. Warren's remark came at a somber, angry news conference. Okay, so let's see if we can find it. Oh, of course, it's paywalled. I love how it's paywalled, and then it's just like them summarizing a tweet.
I am angry. Because an extremist United States Supreme Court thinks that they can impose their extremist views on all of the women of this country, and they are wrong. Yes. I am angry because we have reached the culmination of what Republicans have been fighting for and going
plane. They can fly to another state. They can fly to another country. They can get the protection they need. This will fall on the poorest women in our country. This will fall on the young women who have been abused, who are victims of incest. This will fall on those who have been raped. This will fall on mothers who are already struggling to work 3 jobs to be able to support the children they have. Well, I am here because I am angry, and I am here because the United States Congress can change all of this. Yes, angry but committed. Understand this. I have seen the world where abortion is illegal. And we are not going back. Not ever. No. So say it with me. We are not going back. We are not going back. Not ever. Not ever. Not ever. Not ever. Not ever. Not ever. Never.
Oh man, it's the fire. It's the fireworks festival tonight. I should take my date to the fireworks festival, right? Right? That's a good first date. Who brought a water drum? There's always drums at protests. Somebody brings the bucket. Somebody's got some sort of drum. But yeah, fireworks festival. Oh, that's a great first date idea. Let's go. L'International for l'Auto Québec. Oh boy, it's $40. Wait, what? Bro, stop. No. I'm not paying for that. It's in the sky. Wednesday and Saturday. Okay. What time is it? It's at La Ronde. So I think what everybody does is they just go like to the old port and hang out, and you just watch it from there. Taxes not included. It's $50. That's so crazy. Yeah, like in past years, like I've gone, like this is where it's happening, and everybody just goes to the old port, and it's like super packed. It's a bit uncomfortable. Okay, cool. Looks like I got, looks like I know what I'm doing. I know what I'm doing tonight, I guess. Who doesn't like fireworks besides animals and, yeah, I guess animals. Okay, let's see, the Nationals.
My body, my choice. My body, my choice.
Fury.
Yeah, there's no way I'd pay that. There's no way. I would just go to the old port. I'm pretty sure it'll be fine. It's just gonna be hot. Hot. It's
Outside
30
the
degrees.
Supreme Court,
My choice.
as American women lose the constitutional protection to get an abortion.
This is men dominating women as they have for centuries. But as we have for centuries,
Yeah.
we're going to continue fighting.
Patriarchy,
we will
man.
fight this
we'll see their ass in court.
The landmark decision to overturn Roe v. Wade after 50 years
What do you mean it doesn't matter?
Splits the
Gilead
country
Rising.
and plunges it into a new era of rancor and division over women's rights.
We need your help, Canada. And we really need y'all. This is not right. It's
How do we
not
help?
the country we know.
I don't know how to help
It's
them.
not the country I went to sleep in last night.
How do Canadians
I'm
help?
really afraid for women's rights. And I'm really sad for my country. I love my country so much, and I'm just so embarrassed.
Pro-choice, that's the law. Babies never choose to die.
But it is a stunning victory.
Babies never
for
choose to
anti-abortion
die,
group-
everybody. That's what they're going with. That's their. You know, like I really love listening to protesters' chants because the more vacuous the movement, the less substance to their ideas, the shittier their mottos are. Always.
Who fought for decades
Always.
to give individual states the power to ban abortion.
Remember the Freedom Convoy and all of their chants was just the word freedom?
While attracting a new generation.
I work for Students for Life, and we've been here for every single possible decision day so far, and it was today we got to be here the moment that Roe v. Wade was overturned. I have just been so excited for this, and we're finally in a post-Roe America.
In a majority...
She is literally, probably in the next 5 years, almost certainly going to get pregnant and have to face the real prospect of whether to keep that baby or have an abortion. And she'll probably get the abortion, knowing these
decision,
pro-lifers.
Justice Samuel Alito wrote that Roe was egregiously wrong, and its reasoning was exceptionally weak.
Yeah, she's had quickie abortions.
The ruling means the U.S. map will likely split, with soon 25 states prohibiting or banning abortion and 25 others allowing access, including 9 states which extended abortion rights anticipating the Supreme Court decision.
The U.S.
Self-lovers.
Attorney General says...
Yeah, it reminds me of that piece that I read on here once before. It's a really great piece. The only moral abortion is my abortion.
The Justice Department will work tirelessly to advance reproductive freedom. But people in this crowd are worried about the decision's impact on other rights, like contraception, even same-sex marriage.
I think all kinds of rights are threatened, and I think anyone who thinks contraception isn't next is not paying attention.
The ruling is a win for conservatives and the Christian rights influence on the court and in politics.
It's a good. She does. That's all that needs to be said. She's got it. Look at this. What other rights will they take away? Like, very simply, the court has never taken away rights when overturning a previous Supreme Court ruling. So like, what's going on?
The court and in politics.
You know, today's Supreme Court decision in Dobbs is the most important pro-life ruling in American history.
This is a sad day for the country, in my view. But it doesn't mean the fight's over.
Come on and join the fight!
More like the fight's just started.
Look at the side that has real substance and virtues and values, and immediately such a better atmosphere.
Again.
Actual rhythm.
Susan, this was a split decision, 3 justices dissenting, and take us through their message today.
Yeah, the Christians got their way.
It was a blistering dissent by those 3 liberal judges, calling this decision catastrophic, saying it undermines the credibility of this court. They said the majority always despised the Roe ruling and now had the votes to overturn it, and that's why they did it. They ended their written dissent, Ian, saying, with sorrow for this court and for the millions of women who tonight have lost a fundamental right.
Thanks, Susan.
Okay, well, as long as we can stomach it, we'll listen to Ben Shabibo.
The Supreme Court finally issues its ruling on Roe versus Wade, and Roe versus Wade is now history. I'm Ben Shapiro. This is The Ben Shapiro Show.
That's the thing that's so frustrating, is that they've been organizing in the open, and yet it's like been absolutely impossible to stop.
Big Tech, protect your data at expressvpn.com. Women's Health Organization, it completely overrules Roe versus Wade. The leaked draft decision by Samuel Alito a couple of months ago, it has not changed. There have been some additions. The majority opinion, which is joined in concurrence by Chief Justice Roberts, who, in his concurrence, by the way, is precisely as cowardly as you would expect him to be. The actual 5 justices who voted in favor of the opinion are Alito, Thomas, Gorsuch, Kavanaugh, and Barrett. Thomas and Kavanaugh filed their own concurring opinions. We'll get to those in a moment because Thomas is particularly fantastic and speaks to what constitutional law actually should be. And then Chief Justice Roberts filed an opinion concurring in the judgment, but failed to actually join the opinion. So technically it's kind of 5-3-1. Really, it's kind of 6-3. It doesn't matter. Bottom line is Roe versus Wade is now gone. It is no longer the law of the land. Planned Parenthood versus Casey, which was the follow-up case to Roe, which did away with the trimester structure and instead went to fetal viability. That standard is now gone. This means states are now free to regulate abortion. They're now free to protect unborn human life. That is what this decision means. It means that hundreds of thousands of children who would have been killed in the womb will now live. This is a victory for human life. It is a victory for all human beings who are made in the image of God. It is a victory for a system of law that is not meant to be perverted by a bunch of...
Probably nutted in his pants when the ruling came down. Yeah, like he's clearly excited. I don't know. I think this is not going to go the way they think it does. I think it's going to shatter all veneer of democracy in America, which means knives come out. It just means the knives
robed
come out.
Oligarchs deciding for you what is your best moral life. Instead, the idea is that this issue is now going to devolve to the states, which is where it was for literally all of American history up until the point at which Roe versus Wade seized it from the states and decided to turn it into a fake constitutional issue based on emanations and penumbras. So we're going to go through this opinion. It is a very long opinion. We're going to go through the opinion. We're going to go through the concurrences. We're going to go through the dissent. And we're going to prepare for a weekend of rage because presumably the left is now going to lose its...
This guy thinks it's going to be a weekend long. He thinks people are going to be pissed off for a weekend. A weekend. My guy, I don't think they don't know what they've done. They don't even know what they've done. This is the Pandora's box, and they're opening it with glee without realizing. Michelle Obama, I am heartbroken today. I am heartbroken for people around this country who just lost the fundamental right to make informed decisions about their own bodies. I am heartbroken that we may now be destined to learn the painful lessons of a time before Roe was made law of the land, a time when women risked losing their lives getting illegal abortions, which is something we read from Ursula K. Le Guin. A time when the government denied women control over their reproductive functions, forced them to move forward with pregnancies they didn't want, and then abandoned them once their babies were born. This is what our mothers and grandmothers and great-grandmothers lived through, and now here we are again. So yes, I am heartbroken for the teenage girl full of zest and promise who won't be able to finish school or live the life she wants because her state controls her reproductive decisions. For the mother of a non-viable pregnancy who is now forced to bring that pregnancy to term. For the parents watching their children's future evaporate before their very eyes. For the healthcare workers who can no longer help them without risking jail time. When we don't understand our history, we're doomed to repeat its mistakes. In this country, our futures are tied together in a delicate tapestry that we each have a hand in making. Too often, cynicism or indifference makes us feel like we don't have a say in weaving it, but that couldn't be further from the truth. The more we allow pessimism to push us further into helplessness, the less we will be empowered to help create the kind of country we want to live in. Man, this is Michelle Obama talking. I think it backfires on them badly. Even Republicans are split, but they might go full tribal, right? I don't know. I don't know if it gets them to question their stripes, their colors. This horrifying decision will have devastating consequences, and it must be a wake-up call, especially to the young people who will bear its burden. I know this is not the future you chose for your generation, but if you give up now, you will inherit a country that does not resemble you or any of the values you believe in. This moment is difficult, but our story does not end here. It may not feel like we are able to do much right now, but we can and we must. If you're like me and you want to get started right now, I encourage you to channel your frustration and anger into action by getting involved. Organizations like Planned Parenthood and the United States of Women, among many others, have resources you can look into. Our hearts may be broken today, but tomorrow we've got to stand up and find the courage to keep working towards. Okay, yeah. Classic lib shit. We're gonna vote our ways out of this, everybody. I mean, this is Michelle Obama. This is Michelle Obama, but yeah, basically it's for rich white people who can travel. I'm thinking of doing like a charity stream, maybe like next Sunday or something. and I could like match every donation to Planned Parenthood. Whatever chat cobbles together, I'll match. I just don't know if they're sort of raise like $20. So I don't know. I feel like it's a bit. I don't think I have a big enough audience to do a charity stream. I don't know if that's how that works. Like, you have to have a certain, or if you just kind of like, I don't know, virtue signaling or whatever. You know, like I want to do something that's actually impactful.
Ever-loving mind, because they've been losing their mind for the last couple of months. In case you haven't noticed, there have been fire bombings of pro-life clinics. There have been fire bombings of churches. The DOJ has done precisely nothing about that. There's going to be a hue and cry across the land where we are told that women...
I guess he's skipping over the decades of fire bombings of abortion clinics. I guess we're just skipping over all of the right-wing propaganda that has led to the murder of abortion doctors. We're just forgetting that. Begging shamelessly works sometimes? Yeah, that's fair. That's true.
Everywhere are going to be suffering from back alley abortions and all the rest. And then what will happen is what always should have happened. The state will now take over these questions. And Alabama will have very different laws on this matter than New York will. Now, from a moral point of view, I would love to see the pro-life movement win across the board. But on a constitutional level, the resolution of this constitutional issue by getting rid of Roe v. Wade and delegating it back to the states, which is where it originally was placed, that is the proper constitutional response to this, barring the reinterpretation of the 14th Amendment to protect unborn human life, which for this court would have been a stretch. In other words, this is the best that the pro-life movement could have hoped for, and now the real battle on the ground for the pro-life movement begins. What sorts of law can you pass in various states in order to protect unborn human life? So let's go through the opinion. So Justice Alito's opinion, we went through his draft opinion when it was released through a leak in an unprecedented violation of Supreme Court precedent a few weeks back. The draft opinion very much is reflected in this actual final majority opinion. The draft opinion was like 98 pages. The new opinion is like 108 pages. So there's some additional material. I'm really going through this with you as I read through it myself. So this is my quick and dirty response to the majority opinion.
Thank God we're getting high-minded legal reasoning from Ben Shabibel on the fly. You know what I did when I saw that? I went, oh, I can't do this on stream. That is way too much complex information for me to parse it and actually provide sensible opinions to an audience. I better not do that. Ben Shabibel just launches into it. He's like, oh, okay, I can parse this. I know about the law.
And so Justice Alito says, abortion presents a profound moral issue on which Americans hold sharply conflicting views. Some believe fervently a human person comes into being at conception and that abortion ends a human life. Others feel just as strongly any regulation of abortion invades women's right to control her own body and prevents women from achieving full equality. Still others in a third group think abortion should be allowed under some but not all circumstances, and those within this group hold a variety of views about the particular restrictions that should be imposed. For the first 185 years after the adoption of this Constitution, each state was permitted to address this issue in accordance with the views of its citizens. Then, in 1973, this court decided Roe v. Wade. Even though the Constitution makes no mention of abortion, the court held that it confers a broad right to obtain one. It did not claim that American law or the common law had ever recognized such a right, and its survey of history ranged from the constitutionally irrelevant, e.g. its discussion of abortion in antiquity, to the plainly incorrect, e.g. its assertion that abortion was probably never a crime under the common law.
No, we're not doing this. We're not doing this. This is insanity. This is insanity. Sorry, Ben Shabibel.
However, we're here to say that we are guaranteed body autonomy. We are fighting for it.
What's out of that?
And this isn't just about abortion. A lot of people keep mentioning that. It's also about people that have had miscarriages or birth control. It's basically overall reproductive access, and we want reproductive justice for all women in the United States. And we want body autonomy just like everybody else in this country.
I can't express how many things this is going to damage, in my view. This is such a huge damage to women, to our own rights to control our own bodies, to decide what is best for our own health and our own individual situations. I honestly believe that this is really, really how it starts. Who's going to be next? There is no telling what comes after this, and it scares me.
No, I'm here.
Fascism hits with like, what is it like? Takes small inches and then all at once. It's like Xanax. Yeah, I don't know how he keeps it up. I don't know how he keeps up that high energy. He is something else.
Because Jesus wasn't a moralist. Jesus
It's probably all the sex he has with dry pussy.
was for love and social justice. And the pro-life people are pro-life until that baby gets out of the birth canal. Then the child doesn't have enough to eat. The child, most in a lot of cases, the mother doesn't get to get the education or the training that she might need to get a better job to support her child. There needs to be free child care. There needs to be access to health care for everyone. And that just, they forget about those babies after they get out. And that is not right. That is not love, and that's not caring. And social justice needs to start ruling in this land instead of greed and power. Amen.
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 Right. Awesome. Amen. Thank
What's
God.
important to note is that almost 50 years ago, the court actually got it wrong. Today, they got it right.
All it took was for the makeup of the court to change. Yeah, sounds like some real good reasons.
What's also interesting is, for those of you who live in Louisiana, it's such a great day because actually today Louisiana leads. Because Louisiana is one of the few states with the most pro-life laws on the books. And so the opportunity today is for other states to be able to take Louisiana as a template in order to protect the unborn, right? So that is what the court has said. The court has said, listen, this is a decision that is best left for the states, which really means it's a decision that's best left for the people in the state.
We don't care about this. But what we do care about is French President Macron saying abortion is a fundamental right for women. So the whole world's just gonna be like, yeah, no. Yeah, Louisiana, just straight up full mask off, you know. We don't already know how to control our women. Macron said on Friday that abortion was a fundamental right for women as he reacted to the Supreme Court decision. Quote, abortion is a fundamental right for all women. We must protect it. I would like to express my solidarity with all those women whose freedoms have today been compromised. Compromised. I think you mentioned this earlier, Kraus, but California, Washington, and Oregon launched a West Coast offense to protect abortion rights. So I'm going to try to like really aggressively codify it. And another interesting story that came across my news feed. Meta is clamping down on internal discussions of Roe v. Wade. Meta told its workers on Friday not to openly discuss the Supreme Court's ruling, eliminating the constitutional right to an abortion on wide-reaching communication channels inside the company, people with knowledge of the situation said. Managers at Meta, which owns Facebook and Instagram, cited the company policy that put, quote, strong guardrails around social, political, and sensitive conversations in the workplace, said the people, who spoke on the condition of anonymity. They said managers had pointed employees to a May 12th company memo, which was issued after a draft opinion. Oh, boy. In the May 12th memo, which was obtained by New York Times, Meta said that, quote, discussing abortion openly at work has a heightened risk of creating a hostile work environment, so it had taken, quote, the position that we would not allow open discussion. Managers were advised to be empathetic but neutral on the topic. Oh, boy. Oh, no. So they got, like, internal forums, and they're probably very spicy. Okay, so I was thinking that I would move my schedule. I think I'm going to try to adjust my schedule, and I'm not sure if it's going to go well. Yeah, I don't want to hurt anyone's neutrality, Uber alles. Yeah, I'm not sure if it's going to go super well. I'm still trying to figure it out. We're heading into the summer, and I got class in the evenings. But I thought I would stick to a schedule where I stream pretty much every day, 5 days a week. Thursday to to Monday. Thursday to Monday. Take Tuesday, Wednesday off. And we'll see how that goes. And mostly just new stuff. And I want to start replacing new segments with something different. Something different. Music streams, debate streams, just, I don't know. Like, news will be sort of like the catch-all. I also have to organize a show for next Saturday. So it'd be nice if I could stream that live. It'd be a poetry open mic, I think. And yeah, I think that's the plan. So I hope that works for you. I hope you can make it and hang out. It was really nice to spend time with y'all and laugh at incels and pet the chud and watch America crumble and collapse. Fun, super fun. So I should be here tomorrow, same time, around 1 o'clock. But I won't be here Monday because I will be traveling to go see a concert. I'm going to go see Penelope Scott, which will be really fun. So I'm super excited for that. But yeah, so that's the plan, everybody. That's what I'm going to be doing. I hope you have a lovely day. Hope everything's hunky-dory where you are. I'll see you later. This is the end of the stream. This is where we all say goodbye. It's where we spam all our favorite emotes and think of who else to watch. All right, I'll see you later. Bye, hearts. Au revoir. À la prochaine. Ciao. See you later. Bye. Au revoir. See you later.